Trump charges into Washington with a full head of steam. Lawsuits have already been filed against Doge. Ghost jobs becoming a large problem in the employment world. This is Dr. David D. Schein for Saving America with our weekly update. It's been an exciting week, including a very rare snowfall in our home base here in Houston, Texas. Trump charges into Washington with a full head of steam. Trump gave an interesting and animated inauguration speech. The event was moved indoors, reportedly due to weather, but numerous reports indicated that security with the traditional outdoor venue was a major concern. Certainly, I hope with major changes at various federal agencies, Americans can anticipate that their president and the rest of us will be safe. Of particular note was his thank you to the large number of minorities who supported him in the election. He also previewed many of his promised executive orders. I cannot cover all of them here, but some of the biggies of the 100 or so from the first couple days. He halted 78 Biden-era executive actions. This was fully expected and is pure common sense, something lacking with Biden and his handlers. Withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. This was a terrible deal, and Biden should never have reversed Trump's initial removal from this deal. China wants to be treated like a developing nation for this deal while trying to be big dogs on the international scene. Hey, they can't have it both ways. He pardoned about 1,500 people criminally charged in the January 6th Capitol protest while commuting the sentences for 6. This was fully expected and, of course, was made easier by the disgusting Biden pardons. He rescinded the 2021 Title IX order, which bans discrimination based on gender identity or sexual orientation in education programs that get federal funding. He declared a national emergency at the U.S.-Mexico border and designated drug cartels and Trendiagua and foreign terrorist organizations. He reversed Biden's recent removal of Cuba from the U.S. state sponsor terrorism list. Cuba is rarely mentioned since it's such a failed communist economy, but it helps to keep it in mind. And I have no intention of visiting there until it switches from communism back to capitalism. And hopefully they get a sensible government at some time. He ordered federal employees back to work in the office 5 days a week and ordered a federal hiring freeze, including exceptions for posts related to national security, public safety, and the military. This is long overdue. I call for hiring standards, their pay, and importantly, benefits to be set that no federal employee gets a better deal than a private sector employee doing a similar job. And the weaponization of the government against the political adversaries of the previous administration. I'm okay with this, providing that the Comer Commission works on quickly and thoroughly investigating Joe Biden selling his VP position to America's enemies. The family members pardoned by Biden will not be able to invoke the Fifth Amendment. This should smooth things out and either put them in jail or make them testify. It's time to get to the bottom of this. It's been going on too long. He's talked about imposing 25% tariffs on products from Mexico and Canada as of February 1. This trashes his famed USMCA from his first term, U.S., Mexico, and Canada joint trade agreement. And I have some real concerns about whether this can be done without demoing the whole USMCA. So let's see what happens there. He reversed Biden's order requiring 50% of new cars sold in 2030 to be EVs. Hey, this was a no-brainer as most Americans already abandoned EVs. The Tesla and some of the other electric vehicles, people are very happy with them, but there's a limit to what they do and how people react to them. I don't think they're the ultimate solution, and I do favor getting away from gasoline-powered cars or diesel-powered vehicles, but I think we need something better. He proclaimed something that I think we all know from high school science. There are two biological sexes, male and female. Basic biology, folks, and the parents will be dancing at home as this will become mandatory in the out-of-touch public schools across America. End DEI within federal agencies. The private sector, as usual, is head of this with many recent announcements dumping DEI. This was discrimination, pure and simple, and it's a good idea to have true equal opportunity in hiring. He establishes the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, which of course has attracted a lot of attention under Elon Musk. Major crackdown on illegal aliens who commit crimes. This has been mostly the headline story under Tom Homan, who I have a great deal of confidence in. And again, they're not going to deport 10 million aliens. They're going after the 300,000, which is a ridiculous number of criminal aliens who are still in the United States. It's time to either lock them up or pack them out of here. Withdraws the U.S. from the global minimum tax agreement. Folks, I missed this one in 2021, but Biden and his crew got screwed again in international deals by agreeing to a minimum 15% cross-country tax, and somebody claimed that they were going to give America its fair share. Yeah, nonsense. He ordered the Attorney General to pursue the death penalty for the killing of law enforcement officer or any capital crime committed by an illegal immigrant. Hey, I'm a staunch supporter of the death penalty. We must switch our justice system to protect the public and especially the victims and their families. He withdraws the U.S. from the World Health Organization. This makes sense given the U.S.'s disproportionate financial support of an agency that often looks very anti-American. He revoked the security clearance for ex-National Security Advisor John Bolton. I think that's kind of personal. And 51 intelligence officials who said Hunter Biden's laptop bore classic earmarks of Russian disinformation. This is the old payback is hell situation, and well earned by the clowns he listed. This one I don't really care about. He says he renamed the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. Yeah, but on Alaska's Mount Denali. No, it was never Mount Denali. It's been Mount McKinley since Alaska became part of the United States. It is Denali National Park, and Mount McKinley sits in it. And I certainly agree with that designation. It's the one that I understand as a longtime American. Biden only had a few days left in office after the Supreme Court said that they would uphold Congress's decision to ban Chinese ownership of TikTok in the United States. But one of my concerns here is a number of the people in anticipation of TikTok failing have gone to something called Red Note, which is also under the control of the communist Chinese, and that's not helping out. In Trump's case, he said he feels like a lot of younger people voted for him because he deliberately used TikTok. I disagreed with that decision. I think he could have used Instagram, Facebook, X, and so forth, and done just as well. So, but in any event, Trump has announced he's not going to enforce the ban on TikTok ownership by China for 75 days. 4 separate suits were filed on Inauguration Day to stop Doge. The key issues here are that unions of the federal employees want to protect their cushy jobs despite the enormous and growing federal deficit. The first suit was brought by Public Citizen, State Democracy Defenders Fund, and the American Federation of Government Employees. No surprise there. A suit was brought by the Center for Biological Diversity, apparently harassing Trump over the climate change hoax. The third one was brought by national security counselors. Their slogan is shining a light into the corners of the national security community and helping those who live there. Given Trump's promise of full transparency, this might just be reinforcing the Trump plan anyway. Number 4 was brought by the American Public Health Association, American Federation of Teachers, a commie operation in my opinion, Minority Veterans of America, Vote Vets Action Fund, the Center for Auto Safety, Citizens Responsibility, and Ethics in Washington. The suit attempts to block Doge on the basis that the gravy train for some of these groups will be cut off. I do want to note that I'm a lifetime supporter of vets. However, even there, just about every federal agency is failing at its job while costing ridiculous amounts of our hard-earned money. And of course, all the feds can borrow on top of our hard-earned money. Time to get things running a little bit better. So let's see if we can make things provide better services but spend less money. What a unique concept. That's what we have to do in the private sector, folks. Mario Rubio has already been confirmed for the new Secretary of State position. This was expected to be an easy appointment and confirmation, and it was. It could be a good omen for various other candidates, and they seem to be doing well in their hearings. Still facing uncertainty are 3, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, and Kash Patel. I have mixed emotions about RFK Jr., but I think the Democrats would get what they deserve if they put RFK in the U.S. government under Trump. Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, good people. I think they could do a good job. I believe Trump has done a much better appointment job than the last time. Trump has announced he'll be replacing about 1,000 political appointments. He's already canned a few folks, including the admiral heading the Coast Guard. She was much more concerned with DEI than having an effective Coast Guard. Foot Locker is closing more stores. I previously mentioned that Foot Locker would be closing some of its 2,400 stores. Well, they have announced they will add another 400 stores to the list being closed. By the way, its brand includes 125 Champs Sports. As I mentioned in previous reports, many large multi-unit operations have been cutting back as the economy changes rapidly. Others include Walgreens, CVS, GameStop, TGI Fridays, Walmart, Pizza Hut, Best Buy, Applebee's, and so on. It's a long list, folks. Interestingly, Foot Locker will be opening larger stores in the future, and the new format stores will exceed 400 locations. So they're going to close a bunch, including the previous announcement, but they're going to be adding these new big fancier stores they're hoping will attract more people. Also on the business front, the Wall Street Journal announced that mortgage rates have topped 7% for the first time since mid-2024. This is a bad omen for the 2025 housing market, which has been struggling for quite a while. Keep in mind that the housing market is actually very important to the overall U.S. economy. We often focus on retail sales, but the sales and the construction of houses is equally important. Of course, the irony of Joe the Demented claiming that he left the country in good shape, not so true, of course, as we all know, as we all hunt around and look at our couches for a few extra quarters to make sure we can pay the bills. The housing market's a key indicator, as I said, and not leaving 2024 in good shape. Ghost jobs becoming a large problem in the employment world. This is an interesting story from KTRH. Story relates that many of the jobs posted are not real jobs. So an applicant applies for what could be the perfect job, never hears anything. The job posting, however, is still there. So this is the world of ghost jobs. The time spent filling in the blanks, especially applicants with experience and degrees, never hear anything. The article cites a workplace expert who estimates that 30 to 40% of job postings are fake. So why would this be happening? Maybe the employer forgot to take it down. Maybe they hired someone. On the dark side, the article suggests that job postings could give investors the illusion of growth for those employers. There can be long-term consequences where applicants learn to avoid certain employers, so the companies lose out on the best talent. Also, if this is really false posting for investor flash, then there could be legal consequences like investigations by the Securities and Exchange Commission. One of the suggestions was to review LinkedIn and other sources to see if the employer that has posted the job really has some hiring activity going on. So do some additional online research to see what the current financial reports are for larger companies. Of course, that's not always true for smaller companies. For the eager job seekers, ghost can be a real problem. This is Dr. David D. Schein. Thanks for joining me for this special episode of Saving America. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite site. Also, we always welcome comments from the audience, and you can contact us through our website, ClaremontManagementGroup.com, no spaces, no dots. Thanks again.